to like from day one of Facebook. But you're always gonna try out new ideas. You gotta just stick to your plan. Alright. Let me grab a little bit of water because I tend to yell when I talk. So, I know everybody's been talking about this, right? And it's such an abstract thing. Everybody talks about discipline. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta have a plan, all this stuff. But what does it really mean? How do you get consistent? How do you show discipline in your trade? What are the tenets you need to be that person every single day? So, number one, what can help you get really, really consistent? This is what turned the edge for me. See, when I was trading, I was reading too many damn books. Books suck. Trading books suck. You read a 500-page trading book, and at the end of it, you feel, shit, I just got ripped off, right? It's like you take a girl out on a date, and you didn't get a kiss at the end. And you just feel used. And that's how I am when I read a trading book. I sit there and I'm like, holy crap, this guy's a billionaire, 100 millionaire, and I can't figure out what he does. Trading is about setup. List of conditions that must trigger before a trade is taken. So you need a recipe, right? That's how I am. I want to see it listed. Because if I can see it listed, and what I got to do? Step A, B, C, D. I'm a semi-smart guy. I just got to repeat it. And when you repeat it over and over and over, you build muscle memory, right? Just like shooting a basketball, right? You shoot something thousands of times. Well, after a while, it becomes muscle memory. Now, it becomes habit. And so, one of the things that helped me was having go-to setups. Setups that are mine, that I can use every single day, that I know like the back of my hand. You only need a few. But you've got to have them. You've got to be able to quantify them and qualify them. When I ask you at the end of this thing, when you're crowded around me at the back, and you say, I'm having trouble trading, I say, well, your go-to setup, you don't got one. We know where the problem is, right? And guess what, guys? Your go-to setup is not just what everybody else is doing. This has got to be yours. You've got to like this setup. You've got to want to learn this setup. You've got to want to take mastery of every single minute detail of this setup. And when you have it, now you've got a setup. So having these setups that you know you can use every single day. So I know if the market gaps up, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I got 2 or 3 things, right? Market gaps down, I'm going to do 2 or 3 things. Market's in a bear market, I'm going to do these 2 or 3 things. I've got a toolbox of tricks that I can use for any condition that are mine. And that's what makes you consistent. When you throw out random setups, I'm going to short this or buy this, because that's what I do. But it's not at the right time or the right place, then it's no good, right? You've got to have some go-to setups that you can lean on every single day. And guess what? In this market, I'm staying trading the same setups that I did in the bull market. I'm just trading a little bit more quick pull buys than XYZ. But the setups are the same. These are my go-to setups. I use them and I will use them for as long as I'm around. If they change, we'll make variances to them. But guess what? In trading, a lot of this is hogposh. You know, the algos and the funds and this and that. Trading is the same. You read a book, trading book from 100 years ago, you know what they do? These consolidations and bases. You read Nicholas Darvis, what does he do? Darvis box. What is that? It's a freaking consolidation. Stocks get their power from consolidations and bases, and that's been around since the beginning of time. Nothing changes. All that we can do as traders is be ready to adapt, listen to the data of what's working, and then make adjustments. So having these go-to setups is very, very important. Number 2, routines. This is huge, okay? In a trade, you have literally an infinite number of variables that you have to compute at one time. What the market's doing, what the stock's doing, what's this done in the past. I mean, it's endless. What routines do is it dumbs our lives down. It takes a lot of the thinking out of our day and out of what we do so that we can make snap decisions without getting overwhelmed. okay? When I came to this conference in 2011, you know what I wore? This exact motherfucking same outfit. I never changed. I wore the same thing. When you saw me yesterday, what did I wear? Now, I'm not that dirty of a person. I have multiple of these black V-necks. But this is what I wear. Because when I wake up in the morning, I don't want to think about what I'm going to do. I want to think about making money. I want to think about improving the lives of my family. I want to go out and be a legend. So I don't have time to sit there and think about whether I look good in this freaking shirt. These are very, very important, okay? When I wake up in the morning, I eat the same thing. I exercise at the same times. I do the same exact routine before the market gets open, so that when the market opens, I am ready to go out and attack, right? I haven't wasted my mental capital on things that don't matter. There's financial capital, but more importantly, there is mental capital. That is the most important thing, and when you waste it, you cannot get it back. Have you ever fought a stock in the morning and you're just over trading and getting yourself in all sorts of trouble, and then at the end of the day, everything that you thought was going to happen ends up happening, but you're not there for it because you wasted your mental capital? It happens all the time to me. I sit there by 2 o'clock, I'm like, I'm so tired. Happened to me last week. We're in Vegas, we wake up early. You know, by the close, I've been trying to bounce these biotechs all day, and I was breaking some rules. So I went to take a nap. I said, you know, enough is enough. One of my people called me and go, Kunal, get back computer. And I'm like, I can't. I flopped the market and lost. And he's like, they're going. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. So I go there, I got 2,000 shares of this Exxon stock, 2,000 shares of this SEM stock, 2,000 shares of this ESPR stock I had. Each one pops up $2. I sold everything and made $500 that day. I was so beat down by the end of the day, I lost all my mental capital, there was nothing left. I had nothing left to give. So it becomes very important to have these routines, but also your mental capital, always preserve it. Collecting data, this is very, very important. I talk to students, traders, all over the world every day. Somebody says, Kunal, I'm having trouble trading. My trading sucks. And I say, okay, well, what's going on? Well, I'm like over trading a little bit. I just lack a little confidence. Okay. Well, can you share anything more than that? Yeah, I think if I was more confident, I'd just be a lot better. Okay, well, buddy, I can't help you with that. But so I'm going to ask you a question. I mean, somebody says it, I'm going to say a question. Well, what setups are working for you? Let's think about the positive first. What setups are working for you right now? Well, I think no. Give me the numbers. What's your win rate? I don't know. What's your lose rate? I don't know. What is your average gain versus your average loss? That's your reward or risk. I don't know. You need to know these numbers. Okay? See, there's a thin line between a profitable trader and a non-profitable trader. Trading is a game of inches. That 1 inch can make the total difference in everything that you do. So, you need to know these numbers, because I'll tell you what, you can take an unprofitable trader and you just eliminate 1 or 2 of his bad habits, 1 or 2 of his bad trades, all of a sudden you've got a profitable trader. But he doesn't know it because he doesn't have his stats. You gotta have the stats. So I talked to some student last week. He said, man, my win rate sucks. It's only 40%, I'm not making any money. So we look at his trades. He literally is at 65% win rate on all his trades. But he's got one that he's at 25%. He keeps trying to short this one type of stock, right? This parabolic thing, he just sucks at it. I said, bro, look at this trade. Yeah, I know, but that one's so fun. It's fun, you're not making any money. You take that right out of the kitchen, you take it out of your playbook, and guess what? He is a winning trader. He just didn't know it. He thought he sucked, but it's not true. He sucked at one thing. Trading is about maximizing your strengths. Finding out what you're good at is everything. What does Tim do? Right? He became famous for short selling pump and dumps. Right? He didn't become famous for longing, blah, 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 blah. Right? He had one thing and he hammered at it, made himself famous. Now we find out he trades all sorts of shit. He's a lot smarter than we thought. But he became famous and he became a millionaire off doing one thing. He knew his strength and then he went for it. And that's going to be very important. You've got to collect your data. So we use, there's 2 different sites you can use. On stocktrader.com, there's like a stock log. It's free. You can upload your trades in there. There's another website, traderview.com, TRADERVUE. This is what my students use. If you go on there, you'll see freaking 1,000 Bulls on Wall Street students posting all their trades. It's awesome because you upload your trades and it shows in a graphical format. It's got a daily chart, a 5-minute chart, says where you bought, where you sold. There's a comments box. People leave comments. But it'll start compiling your statistics. Start compiling your statistics. And when you have that uncomfortable conversation with your mentor, you actually have something to give. Hey, this is what I'm doing wrong. This is what I'm doing right. It's a lot easier to fix a trader when he's got statistics behind him. Now, this is the other thing about having statistics. Traders always talk about confidence. Confidence, confidence, confidence. Well, it's a misnomer. Competence breeds confidence. Competence breeds confidence. Data breeds confidence. When you have an idea of who you are and what you do as a trader, that will give you confidence. If you know you trade XYZ setup in the morning at a 70% win rate, are you going to be shaking in your pants when you try to get in that trade? No, because you know if you don't take that trade, you're actually taking money away from yourself. That's what the data does. It gives you that confidence to go out there and do what you're supposed to do, and it'll help eliminate your weaknesses. So start logging, right? You saw Michael Good. I don't know what the heck he was talking about half the time, but one thing I got out of it was he's very smart, and he sat there and he's got statistics for everything. That's why he's a millionaire. He knows exactly what works and what doesn't, and that's why he's a millionaire. And you haven't done that, how can you be a millionaire like Mike by just winging it? He's not winging it. That's why he's good. Knowing your personal patterns, this is huge. Okay, there are chart patterns, guys. But more important are your personal patterns, right? Understanding your personal patterns is more important than even chart patterns because traders are self-destructive. See, we're not trading stocks. We are trading our hopes and our dreams, right? Yeah, traders are kind of animals, but in the end, it all is basic to, right? We want to take care of our families. We want to make an impact. We want to do something good for our friends, leave a legacy, do something great for our parents, right? That's what it really comes down to. And so when you're using your hard-earned money and you're entering a stock, you know what the patterns look like, but you are trading your hopes and your dreams. And so that allows us to get emotional and make mistakes at times. And so we all will have personal patterns that repeat themselves. And so knowing them and finding ways to nip that in the bud is so important because if you don't do it, you will just make the same self-destructive mistakes over and over. So like for example, I have two that happened to me for years, okay? Number one for me was if I lost in a trade at the open, okay? If I lost my first trade of the day, I used to get really down on myself and then I would lose the second trade and the third trade and it would slip into this just kind of never-ending spiral of mental mistakes and losses. It was just one trade. But that was my pattern. You know, as that first trade got me down. Now, if I won my first trade, it was like, I'm like this crackhead. Like, and now all of a sudden I get the hottest day around. But in the end, what's the difference? One trader's not, right? Trading is just a numbers game. You're going to lose half the time. So why am I allowing this to do? So I have to really sit there and think. First of all, I didn't know that was the pattern, right? Only when I started analyzing the data, I realized, wow, if I lose number one trade, I'm going to lose $2,000. If I win a number one trade, I'm going to make $2,000 or whatever it might be. And so sitting there and understanding that and then coming up with ways to combat that. So then it became, okay, I know what the mistake is. Now let's come up with solutions. So what we did was, okay, I lost on the first trade. We know the second trade is going to be really ugly because I'm going to go in twice as big, twice as much gamble, twice as much fury, and that never works. So I automatically cut my position size in half for my second trade and my risk in half so that I wouldn't just get too crazy and have big losses. And I would keep my position sizing, my risk in half till I won 2 trades. And I started building up my mojo again. And then once I was in the green for a couple trades, okay, now let's build on it, go back to regular risk, and let's go for an awesome day. Now let's talk about this building a winning mindset. You can control only certain things. You cannot control the outcome of anything. You cannot control the result of anything. You cannot control whether you win or lose. You control your preparation. You control your personal output. It's the process that matters, okay? It is passion. It is purpose. It is profit. Fuck, I forgot. Don't worry. That's what leads to profits, okay? So, think about what your perfect day is. I cannot control how much money I make in a day, all right? I cannot choose whether I make $2,000 or $5,000. What I can do is have a perfect day. What are the steps I need to take every single day to have a perfect day? All right? So there's things that you have to do, okay? The process that leads to it. So for me, it's okay, do my study, log my homework, spend an hour at the beach, get my exercise, stick to my risk management principles. All of these things are the little things that lead to the big day. So I know if I hit these things, at the end of the year, I will have $1 million. Okay? But I cannot try and say I'm going to make $1 million. All I can do is focus on the process of the little things that lead up to that. That's all you can control. Okay, folks? So, what is your perfect day? Think about it. Write it down. And every day, if you get those things down, you yourself have had a perfect day. And if you do it over and over and over, now you have made some money. Now you have the potential to go out and have a great year, but you cannot choose to make $2,000. You cannot choose to make $5,000, but you can choose to work your ass off. You can choose to work the process. So folks, I'm giving you some tools today to go out and attack it. Now, the choice is yours. You can go out tonight and get drunk and come in late tomorrow, or you get ready for the day, get your study in it. This is the greatest game in the history of the earth because you choose it. All right? It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Indian, gay, straight, metrosexual. The stock market knows nobody. All right? It knows nobody. You choose your destiny. You choose your output. So tomorrow when you come in, are you going to be ready for it? You've got to go out and attack it because you've got the tools now, but you still got to go out and do it. You've got to make your fingers click what you know is the right thing. And that is the awesome part. That's why we do it.